Today, we're going over one of the most epic military countdowns in history, the most decorated servicemen in U.S. history. But before we crown the ultimate winner, let me warn you, the military archives are full of hidden controversies. Stick around, because the truth about who actually holds the top spot and the massive political scandal behind Douglas MacArthur's Medal of Honor is going to completely rewrite your understanding of military history. Let's peel back the layers. All right, to really get what these guys are all about, we gotta zoom out and look at the original chassis of American military valor. Let's drop into World War I, the trench warfare era. At the top, we have Daniel J. Daly of the U.S. Marine Corps, operating during the Boxer Rebellion and World War I. This absolute beast secured 2 Medals of Honor. Then you have the Army's heavy hitters. Eddie Rickenbacker, the most decorated U.S. serviceman of the World War I Air Service. Alvin C. York, the ultimate World War I legend. And Samuel Woodfill, a man General Pershing personally called the greatest soldier of the war. Now, let's fast forward to World War II, where the scale of global conflict required unprecedented logistical and human infrastructure. Leading the charge is Audie Murphy of the U.S. Army, widely recognized as the most decorated U.S. soldier of World War II. But the Marine Corps brought their own titans. John Basilone secured both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. Herschel Woody Williams locked in the Medal of Honor for his extreme operational effectiveness on Iwo Jima. And William D. Hawkins earned his at Tarawa. Sliding over to the Army, the sheer grit continues. Vernon J. Baker earned the Medal of Honor in Italy. Charles Commando Kelly and Charles P. Murray Jr. both secured Medals of Honor for unbelievable tactical dominance. And we cannot forget the Navy's John D. Bulkeley, a highly decorated naval commander who orchestrated complex maritime operations. But perhaps the most unique anomaly of World War II was Desmond Doss, the U.S. Army medic who secured the Medal of Honor completely unarmed, proving that saving the chassis is just as vital as neutralizing the opposition. These men laid the groundwork. But what happens when the geopolitical landscape shifts to the chaotic jungles of Vietnam? And more importantly, why do Marines absolutely lose their minds when you call them soldiers? I'm going to break down the biggest insult in military nomenclature and expose the most formidable operators of the Cold War in just a minute. Keep watching. Next up, we enter the Cold War era. The environments got hotter and the operational lines got extremely blurry. In the Korean War, we have Tibor Rubin of the U.S. Army, a POW hero who endured unimaginable hardship to earn his Medal of Honor. And David Hackworth, a highly decorated combat commander who led from the front in both Korea and Vietnam. But the Vietnam War fundamentally rewrote the tactical manual. The operators in this theater were completely locked in. Take Robert L. Howard of the U.S. Army. He was nominated for the Medal of Honor 3 separate times in just 13 months. He was a master of unconventional warfare. Then you have Jorge A. Otero Barreto and Roy Benavidez. Benavidez's actions are a terrifying display of human resilience, pushing his body through catastrophic damage to extract his team. In the Air Force, Leo Thorsness earned the Medal of Honor while surviving as a POW. And let's not forget the Brown Water Navy. James E. Williams became the most decorated enlisted sailor in history by dominating the riverine combat zones. These guys were always ready to get into the mix. Benavidez and Howard are absolute tactical anomalies. But wait until we hit the modern era. If you think the urban chaos of Mogadishu or the snowy peaks of Afghanistan didn't require the same level of grit, you are completely mistaken. Plus, right after this, I'm going to drop the classified list of the 10 missing legends that everyone fights over in the comments. Stay with me. Sliding over to the modern battlespace. The technology evolved, but the requirement for raw, biological courage remained identical. In 1993, during the intense urban crucible of Somalia, Mogadishu, Gary Gordon and Randall Shugart of the U.S. Army committed the ultimate act of valor to protect a downed helicopter crew, earning Medals of Honor for their uncompromising duty. In the war in Afghanistan, the terrain negated all American technological superiority. U.S. Navy SEAL Michael Murphy gave his all to secure communications for his team. In the Army, Clinton Romshaw and Salvatore Giunta, a living recipient, proved that extreme tactical valor is still very much alive in the 21st century. But before we close the main ledger, we have to look at the multi-era titans. Louis Chesty Puller, World War I, World War II, and Korea. The most decorated Marine in history, earning 5 Navy Crosses. He was the ultimate architectural blueprint for Marine Corps leadership. And then, there is General Douglas MacArthur, one of the most decorated U.S. generals ever, spanning World War I, World War II, and Korea. But his name brings us directly into the battleground of public opinion. So let's address the 10 names and 5 massive controversies that the mainstream media ignores. First, the missing heavy hitters. Smedley Butler, USMC. 2 Medals of Honor, yet famously ostracized for declaring, "War is a racket." Matt Urban, Army, who many argue actually out-medaled Audie Murphy. Thomas Custer, Army, the forgotten double Mo recipient of the Civil War. Joe Ronnie Hooper, Army, a Vietnam legend with an astronomical operational record. John Chapman, Air Force, the lone warrior in the snows of Afghanistan. And Richard Dick Bong, the ultimate Air Force ace. But missing names aren't even the biggest issue. The real friction comes from how history is recorded and manipulated. I am about to break down the 3 most intensely disputed debates in military history, including the political agenda behind the highest medals. You do not want to miss this final audit. Let's address the 5 massive issues you guys argue about. Nomenclature. Calling a Marine, a sailor, or an airman a soldier is a massive insult to their specific branch identity. War dates. International analysts constantly point out the historical reality. The U.S. didn't enter World War I in 1914 or World War II in 1939. They entered late, 1917 and 1941. Accuracy matters. Earning versus politicking. This is the MacArthur debate. Was his World War II Medal of Honor a genuine combat award? Or was it a political propaganda tool by FDR to keep morale high after the Philippines fell? Contrast that with heroes like Vernon Baker and the 761st Tank Battalion, who were completely ignored for decades due to racial prejudice. The definition of most decorated. Does a guy with 2 Medals of Honor outrank a guy with 1 Mo, but dozens of silver and bronze stars? The math is entirely subjective. So, I am handing the ledger over to you. Was MacArthur's medal pure politics? Drop your exact criteria in the comments below. These men, from Daniel J. Daly in the trenches to Salvatore Giunta in the mountains, represent the absolute peak of tactical precision, discipline, and biological engineering under extreme stress. They changed the geometry of the battlefield forever. Shout out to this comment. And if you're interested, you can sign up for my free newsletter. This uncompromising breakdown was explained by a German. I love writing, so I do it in my free time and put some surprises in there as well, because I really appreciate everyone who watches my videos. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the WarSim, and I'll see you in the next one.